Well, the poll bugle will be sounded in the largest democracy in the world today. Viewers, Election Commission of India has shared that they will be announcing the dates for the general elections 2024 at 3 p.m. today. All eyes are, of course, on the big announcement, and India awaits to carry out the largest democratic exercise in the world, with a country of 1.4 billion heading to polls to elect its next government. Meanwhile, a lot of developments are taking place across the country as parties now consolidate their alliances and aim to reach the magic number of 272 in the Lok Sabha. Most parties have announced their candidate lists for the polls, and many, however, are still calibrating and making those calculations that are so very important in this exercise. I have with me on the broadcast several of our guests joining us, political analysts, as we now prep for the big announcement at 3 p.m. I have with me Sumit Peer and Nishant Verma, both political analysts, joining us on the broadcast. Let me begin with Sumit. Sumit, of course, there has been a little bit of a controversy over the Election Commission as well in the past few days, with one of the election commissioners resigning. Two more have, of course, been appointed, and there were a lot of rumors that the resignation has happened due to a delay in the announcement of the schedule for the general elections. But keeping that aside for just a moment, as far as this political season is concerned, Sumit, have you noticed it to be any different from what we had witnessed in 2014 or even 2019?
Devgaji, thanks for having me on your show. What we are witnessing is that the India Alliance and the opposition is more desperate. They're rattled because they know अगर 24 गया तो 34 की तैयारी करनी पड़ेगी. So now the next election, they have to look at 34. And incidentally, one of the key members of India Alliance, Umar Abdullah, told them, forget 24, you have to look at 34. I'm just quoting him. So when you see these things happening today, what is the change? I am seeing that, the Congress and the India Alliance is grabbing any of the issues which come on the market. Sorry to use a very not a proper term like market. They're rappelling कि आज अदानी पे बात करेंगे, कल stock market पे बात करेंगे, आज electoral bond पे बात करेंगे. They're looking at grappling at each and every issue. But where is the agenda? Where is the manifesto? What is the vision? What are they going to bring to the table? How are they going to counter Modi? How are their policies better than Modi? How have they highlighted flaws in the Modi's policy? They're not doing anything. I mean, they're just looking for the flavor of the day, soup of the day, what has come, what has hit the newspaper, what the media is talking about. Let's get onto that and do it. At the end of the day, look, Rahul Gandhi knows he's not going to get more than 40 to 60 seats. That's what all the polls are saying. All the polls are saying Modi ji is going to cross 400 seats. So this 400 number has really gone on to their hearts and minds. Today they are busy telling, no, it will be 370, it will be 360. But none of them is saying that we are winning. None of them is saying we are going to do 270 or 280. They're saying, nahi, 410 nahi hoga, it will be 370, 380. So this election is turning out to be a kind of a tsunami on the side for the BJP and the Modi ji, and the opposition seems to be running here and there. There's no unity. India Alliance is not here and there. I mean, they're looking and grappling for issues every day. They have a new flavor. They try their luck with a new issue. It doesn't hold to the ground. They look for a new issue. But that kind of consolidated thing, what we're expecting for them to come and counter the government and to counter, Prime Minister Modi, and to talk why their alliance is better, what they can deliver for the people of India, that piece is missing. When you look at 214, still they had an agenda. 219, there still those agendas were there. There was something they were talking on. But today, even the agenda is shifting with every day. I mean, last time they had Chokidar Chor hai. They continued it, though it didn't work for them. But now the agendas are shifting every day. And after yesterday's electoral bonds, there was no mention of Ambani and Adani. So now Rahul Gandhi ji, I don't know what is he going to rattle on, because he was his all energy was based on Ambani and Adani. Their names do not figure out there. Now Rahul Gandhi ji is saying is the biggest scam of the world. Then Mr. Gandhi, your party has accepted money by electoral bonds. Are you part of that scam? The BJP got 6,000 crores through electoral bonds, but the opposition in less number of MPs got 16,000 crores. Or 12,000 crores. I think 16 or 12,000 crores they got from the electoral bonds. So who is to blame? Why did opposition get this kind of money? Why did opposition accept this kind of money if it was a scam? These are the questions which Mr. Gandhi has no answers, and he is looking for a day. And today he may say I'm going for this Mandir ka darshan, that Mandir ka darshan. But that consolidated agenda of a constructive opposition, that I'm seeing missing. Everybody is fighting his own battles. Everybody is looking for his own bastions, and that is how it is turning out with Devgaji. I don't really see a fight for Prime Minister Modi and BJP in 2024. Devgaji.
Okay. All right, Nishant Verma, bringing you to the conversation. I want to understand from you as well before we go into some of the recent developments that have taken place. Sumit was also talking about the electoral bonds issue that has come out. We'll discuss the impact of that, if any, in just a moment. But I want to just understand from you, sir. Do you feel that this election cycle is very different from what we are used to witnessing? Because quite honestly, I mean, there's just, it seems as though it's work as usual that's happening in the nation. When we talk about an election buzz, or when we talk about run up to elections for at least, say, 6 months before the elections, that sort of energy has not really been there, even though, yes, there has been a lot of campaigning. So do you feel that there's an entire shift in the way political parties and also the voters are now perceiving elections?
Devika ji, I would say this is a 2014 happening, a repeat in a different manner. In 2014, UPA 2 was shunted out and NDA 2 came in, which is Mr. Modi's party. Why was UPA 2 shunted out by the voters and electorate of this country? On the grounds of corruption, on the grounds of non-delivery, and on the grounds of unable to manage the country's economy. These were the primary things that happened in 2014. This is exactly what happened in 2004 when the NDA 1 was shunted out. Now you talk of 2024. We have in last 20-30 years observed that the country on an average gives around 10 years for a party or a Gathbandhan to perform. Could it be NDA or could it be UPA? Going on those lines, today I feel that this is a repeat of 2014 and 2004 in a different manner. When I say so, I mean that the NDA government seems to be going out. Forget about certain channels talking about 400 par and all that stuff. These things happened. These things happened in Bengal also when Mr. Amit Shah started talking like that, and they gained nothing in the assembly. So, number game, the politicians talking about their politics, one side. How is the country faring out? Mr. Peer said that, the opposition has got nothing. They're taking up the newspaper of the day and talking about the issues of the day. No. What the opposition is doing on a daily basis, could it be GST, could it be employment, could it be now electoral bond issue? They are informing the country that, see, we told you earlier and now it has happened. So there is a difference when Mr. Peer goes out and says that the opposition does not have anything in hand. The opposition is bringing forth and informing the country time and again, मैंने बताया था, देखो अब हो रहा है. Now, when we look at this particular aspect, we also need to see the vast size of democratic electoral politics of this country. Where is BJP in South? I've been traveling in South, I don't see it there at all. Where is BJP in East? Except for the Chief Minister, Mr. Hemant Sarma. Is there BJP even talking about anything from Bengal and further East? I don't see that. Look at Bihar. If Mr. Modi would have performed for 10 years, they would not have required a Janata Dal United to bank upon and then also out of 40 only contest by themselves on 17 seats. That's not how BJP functions. They take over the allies and then they start coming in as their own self. This is not happening. Look at Odisha. I mean, yes, I agree that as what we call the cow belt, I know people call it that way, but the Hindi belt rather, I would say, there definitely is still some ground for BJP because they entered this ground quite late. They have not been here since 1950s. They came in quite late. So they still have some ground. But does it even come to a total of anywhere like 150? No, they do not. So when it comes to delivery, 10 years, Mr. Modi, there have not been any deliverables. I know people will come up and say, highway banaya, falana banaya. That every government does. Where is employment? Where is hunger index going? I mean, look at those factors. Where is the BPL? Now, government will come up and say that we have, erased poverty. But on the other hand, they say we are feeding 80 crore people, which is nearly more than 60% of the country, with a 5 kilo ration. So I don't think the voters are stupid. No, the voters are not stupid. The voters are quite intelligent. They don't go by, a temple or a Pakistan or a religious argument by these political parties forever. They do get caught on a certain note at times, but that is not a constant factor. That being a constant factor, if in case after Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, BJP would have been always in power. But that has not been the case. So when you
Okay.
talk of delivery, when you talk of employment, and when you talk of the overall performance in the economy, the government may keep twisting and changing their standards and their methods of telling you how the GDP is going where and what. But look at the overall situation. The country is
Okay.
in deep trouble and brought by this same goal.
Okay. All right. I see Rishi Bagri also with us. Rishi, I'm sure you've heard a little bit of what Nishant Verma has had to say. My initial question was, what really is the change, if any, that we're witnessing in this election cycle compared to 2014, 2019? But here Nishant Verma claims that the country is in deep trouble. Do you agree with that analysis? He says that there's a 10 period, there's a usual 10-year period that the voters grant to any political party or alliance to take the nation forward, and he feels that the BJP's time has now come.
Hi, Rashi. I mean, this is the first time I'm seeing that the government is not the ruling government is not facing the incumbency. It is the opposition which is facing the anti-incumbency. This is the first time in the history of the Indian politics that opposition is facing the anti-incumbency. In fact, government is facing a pro-incumbency wave right now. Why? Because they have able to affect crores of people with their beneficial schemes. I mean, if you see Ayushman Bharat, it has gone. If you go and see the tap water connection, it has gone. Banking coverage, it has gone. UPI, it has gone. Economy is definitely, we are the fifth largest economy right now, fastest growing economy right now. So that is the one thing which we need to understand. I mean, whatever the other panelist is saying, I mean, we cannot like simply say the things. I mean, the IMF is saying so, World Bank is saying so, Fitch is saying so, Moody is saying so. Every top international agency is corroborating with the growth rate, with the growth number, with the GDP numbers. So I don't think so. What he says is the sacrosanct. You need to understand that they are very big agency which you need to do. In fact, we are looking forward for a bond fund inclusion right now. We have already done that. Now we are looking for a credit rating upgrade, which hasn't been done in last 15 years. But with the kind of improving macro, we will see that in coming next to 6 months. So a lot of things, a lot of positive things are definitely there. And then again, you need to also understand that BJP is in last 10 years has added approximately 15 crore voters. In 2009, it used to have 8 crore voters. In 2019, it is having a 23 crore voters, and now they are pushing towards 30 crore voters. But in the meanwhile, in last 20 years, what is the voter base of the Congress? They have stagnated between 10 to 12 crore. They haven't even able to add any single voter right now. So why? They need to introspect. But if you compare with the BJP, they've been able to add around about 4 to 5 crore voters each and every passing Lok Sabha cycle, 5-year cycle. So again, that is very important. That is the reason they are targeting 400 plus seats, and Congress is not even able to counter them by saying that okay, we won't allow you to say. They are just saying that okay, we won't allow you to reach 400 seats. आप 400 नहीं पहुंच पाओगे, 350 पहुंच पाओगे, and that will be a big victory for us. So they have actually lowered their bar for the victory. Let's not allow BJP to cross 400. If they will get 350, 60 seats also, we will declare ourselves as a winner. So this is the kind of goal they are having.
Okay, Nishant Verma. Nishant Verma wants to respond to that. I'll give you an opportunity. Then I want to bring in Chandni Preeti Shah as well.
A couple of things here I want to highlight here. I mean, nobody's talking that opposition just wants to bring them to 350 and 360. This is a ghar ki banai khichdi of BJP and their people. 400 and all that stuff is very far away from the basic calculations. But yes, Mr. Bagri brought out a couple of things. I know him since the days he was only a pro-BJP tweeter, and now he is a kind of an analyst on their behalf. Mr. Bagri, if in case 80 crore people were being fed with 5 kilo ration in Congress regime, out of the total population of 140 crores, would you have said that the country is doing wonders? Forget about Moody and Fitch. Please let us
I would
know.
like to respond.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Rishi, I'll give you the opportunity.
No, you just need to understand that 80 crore people, if they are getting ration, doesn't mean that 80 crore people are staying hunger and they are giving an additional ration. You need to also understand when you
Then you
give
don't know
that,
the policy.
no, just
Then you
listen
don't
to
know
me.
the
Now,
policy.
then
No,
you
no, don't give wrong information on
no,
national
no, don't.
television.
Just listen.
Who gives?
Just listen. When you are giving a 40
Who
crore
gets 5
food
kilo
grains to
ration?
the,
What is the
when you get a
eligibility
40,
criteria?
you don't even allow me
Sorry,
to respond.
tell the country the right thing, Mr. Bhatt.
You need to allow me to respond, Mr. Nishant.
I am not even
When you are
allowing, I
getting
am
a
requesting
40,
you to
when the
respond
poor guy
correctly.
is getting a 40 crore
If
food
Congress
grains,
would have
Okay,
done
Nishant
that,
Verma, Nishant Verma, you
If
have
the
to allow him
Congress
to
would have
respond.
done that, what would have been
Nishant
said?
Verma, 1 second. You've
It
posed
is
a question
simple.
to
Why
him.
is-
You've
why
posed a
is-
question to him. No,
unable to
1 second.
answer.
Nishant Verma, your question is very clear. Nishant Verma, 1 second.
तो सीधा जवाब तुम लो।
No, no,
सीधा
Nishant
जवाब
Verma,
तुम
you've
लो।
posed your question to him. No, you've posed your question to him. You have a counter question. You wait for it. You wait for it. You've posed one question to him. Allow him to answer. You asked, how is it that a country which is doling out, you have asked, sir, how is it that a country which is doling out free ration to 80 crore out of 140 crore people being called one of the greatest nations in the world, right? That's the basic gist of your question. How is it that a country that is doling out free ration to a majority of its population still being considered as though it's on some phenomenal economic path?
What
That's
if
your
Congress would have
first.
done that? Is the question.
Why they haven't done that? Why they
Yes,
haven't done
so
that?
Rishi,
Who
you
stopped
please
them?
respond.
Who stopped
They were
them?
able to have
no,
people employment
they
and
never
work.
did that because
They
they
were
were busy
earning,
with the
they were
scams. They
eating.
were busy with the 2G.
You-
They were
you
busy
brought
with the
them
3G.
down.
They
आपने
never
very
did that.
बनाया.
They never did.
The following
आपने
Mao
क्या बोला?
Zedong theory.
आप स्कैम्स में बिजी थे भैया। आप
आपने
12 लाख
अरे
करोड़ का
स्कैम
स्कैम
तो
कर
आपके
रहे
हैं,
थे।
माओ
आज
Zedong
आज
theory।
आज
आप माओइस्ट लोग हैं।
No, then,
आप
okay,
देश
this
को
becomes
आगे
this
बढ़ाने
becomes
का
really
बनाते
pointless. This becomes
आज
really
आपको
pointless.
बैंक-
Nishant Verma,
हाँ,
either we
बताइए
can
ना
have
कांग्रेस।
Nishant Verma, either we can have an intelligent conversation, because the question that you're posing is the question that everybody also has in mind. People do pose that question. That why do we need to continue supporting a large chunk of our population with free ration if the economy is doing so well, if everybody is doing businesses, and let them respond, right? Let the people, let Rishi and Sumit respond to that. Then we'll come to other aspects. I want to bring in Chandni as well. Rishi, I give you the floor now, please.
No, I just want to say that if 80 crore people are getting a free ration, doesn't mean that 80 crore people who are actually sleeping hungry. They were getting ration now, so they actually save expenditure on
know
the
the
food.
policy.
And he doesn't even allow me to respond. This is a problem.
Yeah,
with
because
him.
you are
He
not
keep
talking
on
sense.
acting. No, you
Who
are
gets 5 kilo
you are
ration?
insecure.
जो भूखा है, वो
You are-
उसको मिलता
you-
है।
अरे भाई आप खुद
क्यों आप मोदी जी का support कर रहे हैं? आपको उनकी policy भी
अरे
पता
भाई
है।
मैं नहीं कर रहा हूँ, 30 करोड़ लोग कर रहे हैं, उनको वो वोट मिलते हैं।
अरे तो फिर आप यहाँ पे टेलीविजन पे बोल रहे हैं कि अच्छी बात है, पर आपको पॉलिसी नहीं पता है।
वोट ऐड नहीं कर पा रही है।
मिलता है जो भूखा होता है
Okay, I'm gonna request Nishant and Rishi both. Okay, Sumit, you've kept your hand up for quite a while. Sumit, you respond to this, please.
You see, kindly allow me a minute. First of all, let's look at the macroeconomical parameters. 1.8 trillion of GDP to 4 trillion, $610 billion of foreign exchange reserves. You have $770 billion of exports. You're number 4th in hydrocarbons. You're number 4th in space. You are the fastest growing economy. Your PPP is $14 trillion. Your economy is going at 7.3%. Your PMI, CPI, look at any macroeconomic parameter is all-time high. Look at infant mortality rate. Look at your exports. Look at Bharatmala. Look at Sagarmala. Look at LCH. Look at LCA. Look at Pralay. Look at BrahMos. Look at the scores of missiles you have done. Look at the Agni 5 tests you have done. And yet, your cumulative debt is only $202 trillion. And out of that, the foreign debt is $400 billion. You have $610 billion as your foreign exchange reserves. Now, if this is not development, if this is not progress, you have taken 25 crore people out of the poverty line. You had in your PDS, you had 4 times the stocks what you need. Rather than this, and a lot of food and stuff was eaten by rats and rodents and was rotting. If some of that is given to the people who are in need, what is the problem? That is point number 1. Secondly, you've taken
80 करोड़ भूखे मार रहे हो भैया इतना गिनाने के बाद।
Nishant Verma, when did the policy, Nishant Verma, okay, honestly speaking, when did this policy even come into place? You're talking about the policy, you're laughing about the policy. When did it come into place? What was happening in the world when the government decided to give out free ration to 80 crore people? What was happening in the world, sir? What was happening in the world over? Was India alone in that?
No, there was not.
No, I want to put some context to it, right? Because we're taking a policy and we're trying to build some premise around it. Let's understand what was happening. Sumit, what was happening in the world when this policy was announced?
See, the world was, people were through COVID. We had brought out 25 crore people from poverty. There are only 1.5 crore people who are below the poverty line. When you bring them out of the
Right,
poverty,
today.
the world was struggling, the economies were struggling. You wanted to give them help, and this resource is additional to you. This was rotting in your food grounds and
Why today
graves.
then?
That's 4 times the thing. So what
Why
were you
today?
giving them the people so that you could help them? Tell me something, sir.
Arre, today
Arvind
COVID hai.
Kejriwal gives 300 units, 300
COVID happening
Okay,
today.
but
It's been 2
Nishant-
years, it is gone.
Okay,
Nishantji,
but
Arvind
Nishant
Kejriwal
Verma,
is-
Nishant Verma, then that can be said for European economies as well.
Where they
That
told
continue
you,
to
where was
support their
American
people. Are those economies
Why
then
do you
poor?
have to take
Where are they
European
putting
economy and
currencies?
Pakistan economy? Talk about
I'm not
ourselves.
talking about
US,
I'm not talking about Pakistan at all, sir. I'm saying
US and
I am
your
saying
premise,
we
your
never
premise.
long list.
Germany, I'm talking.
Nishant
Sumit,
Verma,
we
your
gave a
premise
very
is
long
that
list
your
on
premise is that a
development.
government, your premise, Nishant, is that a government which gives out any sort of free ration or any doles to its citizens needs to then be analyzed and scrutinized further, because clearly they're doing something wrong and the country is not doing as
Devika.
well as they're portraying themselves to be. What about
Devika.
European economies that continue
Here
to
is the
give
answer.
free education, free healthcare,
Why?
in a lot
Why?
of
If
situations,
Devika is
free
giving
ration
somebody
as well to their
Here
citizens?
is the answer, Devika, to
Arre,
your
Nishant ji,
pointer. You got a
Arvind
valid
Kejriwal
point.
is giving
Sumit ji, she
somebody
asked me a
free
question.
Pani.
Okay,
She asked
Sumit,
me a
let him
question.
respond. Chandni's
Follow
been
the
waiting
below
very
the
patiently.
poverty line.
Chandni's also been waiting to come in.
Sumit
Chandni,
ji,
I'll give you
she
an
asked
opportunity.
me-
Nishant Verma, I want you to respond to this one last aspect, then I want to bring in Chandni as well.
Yes, in the COVID duration, all those people who were hand to mouth, unable to earn because there was no work, and hence the government came out with a
Yes.
good policy of feeding them. It's been 2020 and 21, and after 21, everything is back on track. We all know that. Now, 22, 23, 24, these years, for 2.5 years or 3 years, why are we continuously feeding them?
Okay.
Why?
I want to
Because then
understand,
it is
Chandni.
contradictory.
Okay, I want to understand, Chandni Pritisha, who is this policy hurting? Are you and I hurt when the government feeds people?
Okay, so Mr. Nishant Verma is a little misinformed. First of all, it's not about that all these people who are getting the free ration or free food are completely poor people in that sense. Like, as you rightly pointed out, that it was announced in, I guess, March 2020 as a part of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package. And this was to provide relief to the economically weaker sections of the society that were affected.
That
by-
exactly is what I am saying. We are
Sir,
still
would you-
economically weak. Madam, you are
Would
right.
Eat, please. Would you
That's
like
exactly, I am supporting you on this.
Yes.
The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan. Who is Garib?
Nishant ji,
Let me complete.
Nishant Verma, you have Nishant Verma, this is
Nishant ji,
unfair. You are not allowing anybody to speak. This is
Arre,
unfair.
main to Chandni ji
No,
ka
I
support
want you
कर
to
रहा
no,
हूं.
no, no, please, sir. I want
That
you
is
to
his
keep.
strategy.
You
He
listen
doesn't
to
want to know
Chandni.
the
You
facts.
listen to Chandni.
Rishi, I don't follow Mr. Modi's strategy of speaking one-sided. I am supporting Chandni ji.
You-
प्रधान मंत्री
you
गरीब
can
कल्याण
support her
योजना।
later, sir.
आज
You
भी
can-
80 करोड़ गरीब
you
है।
please
यही तो
support-
Why do you,
सरकार-
you get a chance? Why do you hijack our slots? Why do you hijack that?
Yes,
Let
Nishant
us
Verma,
complete
just
this.
Give me
have
hours
the
for
patience.
3 people
You-
into one.
बोल ही दीजिए।
What is
You,
the
you,
hours?
you can
But
support her
sir,
later. You please
जी,
express your
मैं तो
support
अकेला ही
later.
काफी है, एक काफी 3 पे भारी। अच्छा ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं। Please continue.
Okay, now you told me that it is right. I am correct. Now listen to me further, right? So all these 80 crore people that were receiving the free ration, they are considered poor as part of the government scheme under the PM GKY, that's Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Now this initiative, it was aimed to provide free food grains to those in need. Now, this also ensured that the food security for economically disadvantaged individuals was provided. So, our PM, Mr. Narendra Modi, he extended this scheme for the next 5 years. Because he wanted to emphasize the importance of these impoverished population. And let's not
मैं यही तो
compare
कह रहा
oranges and apples, that because we have the 5th largest economy, we do not have people who are disadvantaged. Also, let me say the Congress at that time used to say that we would bring
राइट टू फूड कांग्रेस ने दिया है, आपने नहीं दिया है। राइट टू फूड कांग्रेस ने दिया है।
Nishant Verma, जब वो no, Nishant Verma, when it's called right to food under the Congress party, nobody has a problem. अगर
Right to
स्कीम
food
का नाम
दिया,
राइट टू
मुफ्त
फूड
खिलाने
है,
की
निशांत
बात नहीं
वर्मा,
करी,
इफ द
और
स्कीम
आप
इज
सही
कॉल्ड
कह
राइट
रही
टू
हैं,
फूड
5
बाय द
साल तक
कांग्रेस
मोदी
पार्टी,
जी ने
nobody
गरीब
bats
बने
an
रहो
eyelid.
यही कहा है,
Nishant
इसीलिए
Verma,
5 साल तक
if the
बढ़ाया।
scheme is called right to food, given by the Congress party, nobody wants to bat an eyelid. The moment it's called Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, then we have a problem.
Devika, the
The
problem is
only
not
problem is that we are
right to
using Hindi and
education.
they are using
Right to
fancy.
education does not mean it is free. Right to food does not mean it is free when it is clubbed with Manrega and such
You
a
tell
thing.
me when
काम भी मिलेगा, खाना भी मिलेगा।
when you
सुमित
have
साहब,
4 times the food what you
intellectually
need in
समझिए,
3 years, when you
खाना
have
भी
4 times the
मिलेगा,
food,
काम भी मिलेगा।
rather than
But
rats
these are
according
vulnerable
to
Okay,
international
okay.
lottery
आप गरीब
No,
system,
no, no.
बना
We
करके
can't.
खाना
I
खिला
can't
रहे
understand
हैं।
anybody. I can't
Devika
understand
ji,
anybody.
गरीब बना के खाना
I can't
खिला रहे हैं,
understand
अंबानियों को
anybody.
खाना
If
मिल रहा
if
है,
I can't
कहते हैं
understand
कि
any,
बहुत
if
सारा
I can't
development
understand
है।
any of you,
ये
I can
contradict
assure you.
कर
I
रहा
can
है।
assure you the viewers can't understand you
खा
either.
जाए सड़ जाए
I can't
बैठ
understand
के
you. Viewers
शराब
can't
बनाने
understand you.
वाले
This
को दे
becomes
दे,
pointless.
जनता
It's
को
a
दे दे,
waste of
You don't
everyone's
want
time.
to understand.
It's a waste
That's
of
the
everyone's
बनाने
time.
वाले
Waste
को
of
दे दे,
everyone's
cannot
time. Let's.
understand. But people are understanding it. लोग सब समझ
No,
रहे हैं।
I'm asking you to all speak one by one. Let's be civilized about it. That's all. That's my basic request that I'm making today on the news channel. Let's just be civilized about it. I know everyone is really heated and everyone has a lot of points to make, but I'm going to give you the opportunity. You have to let the other speaker finish their point before you butt in. Please. Preeti, Chandni, you had the floor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, say this, that because you are comparing what Nishanji is doing is comparing apples and oranges. That if there is a Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and if we are feeding 80 crore people, then we cannot be the fifth largest economy, in the world. Now these two things are not comparable to each other. We have vulnerable section of a society and we cannot ignore them. And we are not giving them free rations, like we are not giving them 100 kgs of ration. Each family is getting 5 kgs of ration. That does not mean that they do not have the kind of work that they do, the daily wage work that they do. But we do know that they are a section that needs that struggles to afford basic necessities like food, right? So this decision is to provide ration to these 80 crore people. That is a proactive step to address any lingering food insecurities issues and to uplift these marginalized sections. So I think that helping these people with ration does not have any impact on our economic growing. It is two different ways. We are contributing to social welfare and stability of the nation, and it should not be compared, because food
No, but
is
at the
essential
same
for
time,
everybody.
Chandni, who has studied the effects of it? How are we saying that it doesn't have a positive effect on the economy? I'd really like someone to then conduct a study on it and understand that does giving free ration actually reduce the burden of food security on your population, which perhaps helps them put in that money or that effort elsewhere. Someone needs to do that study for us to actually understand, rather than us assuming and presuming that just because people are being given free ration in the nation, that means that the country is still in doldrums and that it should not be considered a great economic power. Sumit Peer, you wanted to make a point, then I'll come back to Nishant.
Couple of points. First of all, I had put at least 15, 20 data points, which Nishanji did not rebut and say they're wrong. So they're all macroeconomic factors which talk of the health of the economy. They're out in the open for anybody to validate. Even you can do a Google right now. Anybody of our viewers can do a Google right now and validate that. That's point number one. Point number two, when Kejriwal ji was giving free bijli and pani to Delhi, do you think everybody in the Delhi cannot afford 200 unit of bijli and pani? In a country like Canada, the medicine is free for anybody to everybody. By Canada, mein sab marenge kya agar sarkari hospital nahi milega. In a state like US, they were giving some cash out to all the people during the COVID. So you means an economy of 30 with an economy of $28 trillion of GDP, everybody is starving, they get 1,000 rupees, that's why they are surviving. In UK, the medicine is free. So that means in UK, nobody can afford hospital. Various countries have various schemes. Secondly, in PDS scheme, we have 4 times the stock what we need today, 4 times. 33% of that stock was eaten by rodents and that was getting, sad jata tha. We were selling it to people who were making sharab molasses. If that stock is given to that extra food grain which country has procured is given to the people and we are helping the what is wrong, is it better fellow brother Indian and a sister eats it than a rat or a mouse of Indian origin eats it. Who is better? I think if a person eats, that's better. And India is contributing 40% of the total food grains of the world. 40% of the food grains of the world. We are sending wheat to Afghanistan. We are sending wheat to American countries. We are sending wheat to so many countries free of cost. When the same India, same Modi is sending wheat to around 22 countries free of cost, food grains to 22 countries free of cost. When we are sending HCQ, when we are giving vaccines to food of cost, then we are a very sampann economy. But as a matter of fact, if I'm giving somebody a 5 kilo of ration, which anybody would have rotten in my go down, I become a very deprived and a poor country. I become the Rwanda of the world because I'm not letting rats have the feast. I'm utilizing my procured grains. These are procured grains and using them productively. That is the problem we are not addressing. And tell me, Devga ji, if you get or I get a 5 kilo of ration, मेरी जिंदगी का खर्चा का 5 किलो राशन में चल जाएगा? No, I need to earn, I need to make a living, I need to. It's a help which government can afford to give me. So like in Delhi, everybody getting free bijli pani is not, सड़क पे भीख नहीं मांग रहा.
But because but Sumit, the logic that is being applied here is the same that a BBC or a Washington Post used to tell us many years ago, that a nation that is so poor is sending rockets into space. Why are you doing that? Why don't you bring your entire nation and population out of poverty before you focus on your space projects, before you focus on science, healthcare, development in the nation? But we have been an example of how to do it simultaneously, and I'm not understanding that. I'm not understanding the larger point here. But Nishant Verma, coming back to you. Nishant Verma, explain to me, when you say that this will be the end of the BJP this time around, and you've based that premise on the fact that 80 crore people continue to be supplied with free ration.
Great. Thank you. First of all, let's understand, because I heard the three, I tried to tell them, but right to food is for poor. The poor now is 80 crores in this country because Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan identifies Garib. We may give any kind of understanding that Garib does not mean that and Garib does not. But Pradhan Mantri identifies you a Garib, that means poor, in order to avail the benefit of the 5 kg of ration. And that is nearly 60+% of this population of the country. Why is this bad for health? Because when you come up with corporate analysis and talk about economy of this country, the way it is shooting up and down, it has to reciprocate to the ground level also. It has to be a sustainable development. It has to be a sustainable number. It cannot be 4 of us or 5 of us sitting on this channel earning 5 lakhs a month and Aam Janta earning 6,000. That is not rational. Thirdly, why is BJP going out in 2024 or the NDA going out? Is because of few factors. Mr. Modi has not been able to deliver. I mean, when I say deliver, I am comparing Prime Minister to earlier Prime Ministers. It has got nothing to do with opposition leaders. See, that's a wrong way of looking at it. When you compare the ex-Prime Ministers of this country who have sustained themselves for 5 years or more, you have to compare with them. Let's have a debate where we can have those statistics in place with the percentages and ratios of development and growth, then we can talk, because it trickles down, boils down to the layman whether they are able to take it or not.
Okay.
Secondly, why BJP is going out is because employment, income versus expense. When you take this triangle, do a research, have a debate, and you will see BJP going out.
Yes, employment is an issue that has come up in our surveys as well, rightly put out there by Nishant Verma. But I also want to understand, Sumit, I'll give you the opportunity. I also just want to understand quickly, Nishant Verma, when we talk about looking at a 10-year cycle and understanding the politics of the nation, I also just want to understand from you, when you say that the BJP is going out, who is then really replacing the BJP as per you?
The next in line. I mean, there is no question about it.
Which is?
See, when I will tell you, when Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, our beloved Prime Minister, was in power, nobody thought that he can be replaced. He got replaced. When Manmohan Singh's government was going on, and the reason why Atal Bihari Vajpayee, because when he went out in 2004, because the fake Shining India propaganda hit them hard. Nothing was shining. Now in UPA 2, there is no harm in telling, no shame in telling that Manmohan Sarkar was doing shabbily. And that is the reason India pushed them out. Look at today. Look at today and the triangle that I gave. That how much people are able to earn versus spend, and what is the employment issue. If you look at
But
that, the
Nishant,
NDA
is
3, allow
that
me to complete.
basis? No,
Allow me to
Nishant, is that
complete.
basis of your triangle enough for people to bring in to bring in a Congress or an INDI alliance, which is yet to offer any sort of a strong position on any matter yet?
इसका जवाब हिंदी में दूंगा ताकि देश और भी ज्यादा समझ पाए। खाना पीना रहना नौकरी, एक आम इंसान को इससे ज्यादा क्या चाहिए? उन्हें नहीं चाहिए कि आप कितने हजार के करोड़ में जहाज जा रहे हो या कितनी ब्रह्मोस बना रहे हो। वो आम आदमी नहीं समझता है।
आपकी
हम
बात सही
इंटेलेक्चुअल टॉक में
है जी, आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है। आम आदमी को नहीं,
वही करता
एक्चुअली
है।
नहीं फर्क पड़ता, देश को फर्क पड़ता है, देश की तरक्की को फर्क पड़ता है, बट यूर राइट, आम आदमी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता। मेरा बस यही सवाल है आपसे कि कांग्रेस पार्टी या ऑपोजिशन की जो अलायंस है, उन्होंने इतना ट्रस्ट गैदर कर लिया है जनता का कि
कोई भी इलेक्शन,
नरेंद्र मोदी को हटा के वो INDI को ले आएंगे भारत के लोग?
देविका जी,
ये
आपका
सवाल
सवाल बहुत बेहतरीन है। मैं आपको बताऊं, 2004 में कांग्रेस ने बीजेपी को नहीं हटाया था, बीजेपी खुद हारी थी। 2014 में मिस्टर मोदी ने मनमोहन को नहीं हराया था, UPA 2 अपने कर्मों से हारी थी। और 2024 में मिस्टर मोदी को कोई नहीं हराएगा, वो अपने कर्मों से हारा।
Fair enough.
यही साइकिल है।
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Sumit and then Chandni. Sumit, go ahead.
I want to make a few points. First of all, Nishan ji was saying that Modi ji is going out in 34. हाँ, 34 की बात 34 में करेंगे, अभी 24 चल रहा है. So just a small correction, Nishan ji.
मैंने 34 नहीं 24 बोला भैया, कहाँ?
मुझे 34 सुनाई
आप कुछ भी सुन लेते हो, यही हालत है पूरे देश में कि भाई बीजेपी वाले कुछ भी सुन देंगे।
Second thing, let me come to the statistics. This Nishan ji, I believe you are a chartered accountant by training. That's what I know, right? There is something.
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। देखो, पता नहीं फिर वही वाली बात किसने कह दिया मैं सीए।
Okay, there is something called purchase power parity, right? That talks of the spending power of an economy. That is the most absolute term when you measure the spending power and the power of the economy. ये जो हमारा purchase power parity है, $14 trillion पहुंच गया है $8 trillion से. We have almost doubled it in last 10 years.
आम इंसान का बताओ, कंट्री का नहीं।
ये चमत्कार कहां से हुआ? This is available to everyone.
नहीं, आम इंसान का बताओ। हद तो अच्छी बात कर रहे हो।
आम इंसान का ही होता निशान जी. This is not for the government. This is
तो 1 लाख का मोबाइल लेने की कोशिश करता था 5 साल पहले, आज 10,000 पे सिमट गया है सर।
मुझे बोलने दीजिए सर, मुझे देखिए, परचेस पावर पार्टी फॉर द कॉमन इंसान। ये जो $1.8 ट्रिलियन से $4 ट्रिलियन की जीडीपी हुई, ये कहां से हो गई? ये जो $610 बिलियन का फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व है, ये कहां से हुआ? ये जो आपने 200 करोड़ लोगों को इंजेक्शन लगा, ये कहां से हुआ? ये जो आपने आयुष्मान भारत 54 करोड़ लोगों को दिया, दैट इज मोर देन द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका। और आपको बताऊं, जिन लोगों का इलाज हुआ आयुष्मान भारत में, दैट इज मोर देन द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ यूनाइटेड किंगडम। ये गांव की बातें करो। आपने 15 करोड़ शौचालय बनाए, ये भी कॉमन आदमी को मिला। उज्ज्वला प्रज्वला गैस योजना, आपने 24 करोड़ लोगों को ये मुद्रा लोन दिए। आपने लाखों रेडी पटरी वालों को 1 लाख रुपए का लोन दिया। आपने करोड़ों जनधन अकाउंट खोले। आप नंबर 2 हो मोबाइल फोन बनाने में। पहले आप नेट इंपोर्टर थे, नंबर 2 हो। 10 बिलियन के आपने मोबाइल फोन बनाए। तो अगर इकोनॉमी में ये मूलभूत परिवर्तन नहीं हो रहे हैं, तो ये जीडीपी बढ़ना, पीपी बढ़ना, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज बढ़ना, 200 करीब $300 बिलियन का एक्सपोर्ट था मनमोहन सिंह के टाइम में। लास्ट
एक लाइन कह दो, फॉरेन एक्सचेंज हर 10 साल में डबल हुआ है।
आप देखिए,
आप पढ़ रहे हैं, एवरी 10 years फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रिजर्व हैज गॉन अप।
वो भी डाटा दूंगा। 770 बिलियन हमने किया 300 बिलियन से। ये कहां से हुआ? अगर इकोनॉमी में कुछ नहीं हो रहा सर, तो अब तक तो वी शुड बी बैंकरप्ट बाय दिस टाइम। हाउ इज दिस?
वी आर बैंकरप्ट, वी आर लिविंग ऑन लोन, वी आर बैंकरप्ट। व्हाट इज द डेट ऑन इंडिया?
लोन की बात,
डेट ऑन इंडिया? नहीं, वी आर बैंकरप्ट।
Okay, I'm going to give Chandni an opportunity, then I'm going to bring in Rishi as well. I'm going to give Chandni an opportunity now.
Just Devka ji, one second.
Yes.
लोन की बात बताओ। I'll give you some statistics about loan. निशान जी भाग गए, चलिए मैं बता देता हूँ। Our cumulative debt is $2.2 trillion. Our foreign debt is $400 billion, but our foreign reserves are how much? Are $610 billion. The cumulative debt of China is $53 trillion. $53 trillion. The debt of United States is $34 trillion. Benchmark with ours, benchmark the population. You are a very, very stable economy. I'm benchmarking with top 5 economies of the world. United States and China, 1 and number 2 economy. And do our benchmarking. Where are we going wrong? When I talk about numbers, Nishan ji's connection will break down and he will come back. Then he will find a point and he will say, नहीं 80 करोड़ लोगों को खाना क्यों दे रहे हो? भाई चूहों को खाना दे, बिल्ली को खिला दे, शराब वाले को बेच दे, मतलब हिंडन नदी में डाल दे, पर भारतीय को खाना दे, इसलिए भारत गरीब हो गया। This logic I am not able to understand.
Okay.
This is the problem what they have. They will never understand anything factually. I have given him 101 statistics which he could not counter me.
Okay.
Because
So,
they're open, but
Okay,
I can't find aspersions.
Okay,
No?
Sumit, understood your point. Chandni, the basic premise that some of the analysts are drawing here is that whatever, and this is something that the opposition has also said, that whatever is happening in India as far as economic growth is concerned, that was the natural trajectory of the nation regardless of the government that would have been in power. Okay, that's the basic premise that everybody is laying out, which is something that the opposition has also said. When Narendra Modi says that I will now help you hit the next benchmark in our economy under my third term, the opposition comes and says that, listen, India will do that anyway, regardless of who becomes prime minister. How does a Narendra Modi then or a BJP then justify their work?
Okay, so many people would be saying that it is a natural trajectory that took place, but I do not agree to that completely. See, there was, the financial crisis is not just India's problem that has been seen. It hit globally, but we survived. Number one, because we have a mixed economy, and secondly, Narendra Modi actually brought those kind of, growth initiatives that helped us. For example, we economically did those things that brought us to the fifth level, surpassing UK, which is today like almost going bankrupt. We brought the Digital India Initiative. We brought the Swachh Bharat Mission, which we brought the Jan Dhan Yojana. We brought the Make in India campaign. We brought the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now these things, startup initiatives. We also have the Mudra loan. Now, do you know how much of Mudra loan has been allocated to people? Before 2014, there were only 340 odd startups, like from the beginning till 2014. From 2014, after the Mudra loan started, after there was ease of business in India, we have more than 1 lakh startups in India. We have 100 unicorns in India. Now, if you tell me unemployment, you also need to see that people who were only doing job and were reluctant to do something of themselves, of their selves, if they have even had an idea, they were not able to do it. Today, people are choosing that whether they want to do a job, whether they want to do something of their own, because they have both the things on the table. Now, this all, when it comes together, the healthcare infrastructure has improved. Everything has improved. Now, all these things impact, because, we were talking about all these, things, that there was why Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana and why there are 80 crore people. Now, one needs to understand that Nishanji was talking about right to food. Let me tell, this Yojana also aligns with the concept of right to food, right? Because under the National Food Security Act, these people, these 80 crore people, they receive an additional 5 kg of grains, which is free, in addition to the subsidized food grains that are already provided to them by PDS, the public distribution system. Correct? So it's not like we are giving them free food and we are making them, sit back, relax, give you food. It's not like that. We are just seeing that that we are just taking a significant step towards fulfilling the right to food for vulnerable population of India. So again, I'm saying all these things that India is growing economically. It is growing economically, and there is no.
Okay, Chandni, I just have a minute left now. Rishi, I'm going to leave the last minute with you. I just have a minute left. Has the Modi-nomics, as people call it, trickled down to the last beneficiary or not, as per you?
No, definitely it does. When you give 40 crore Mudra loans, definitely it empowers the poor section of the society who goes for the self-employment. Definitely it helps. And secondly, you need to understand this is the reason why Congress leadership is not fighting. Their top leadership actually ran away. They have taken a refuge in the Rajya Sabha. Sonia Gandhi is not fighting. Rahul Gandhi is not fighting in their home bastion, which is Amethi. You can imagine he's looking for some safe seat in Wayanad. So when entire Uttar Pradesh is vacant right now, and BJP is trying for 75 plus seats, So you can imagine how the election is going to happen. My friends Nishan can have some illusion about the election, but the way the other party is fighting, even their leadership, the Khargeji is not fighting, is reluctant to fight, and the kind of delivery which has happened, which was never been seen. ये बोलते हैं कि भाई गरीबी हटाओ, तो इंदिरा गांधी जी ने स्लोगन दिया, लेकिन मोदी ने करके दिखाया। ये बोलते हैं कि फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल तो सोनिया गांधी लेकर आई, लेकिन ये तो मोदी ने दिया। इनको 10 साल क्यों लग गया फूड सिक्योरिटी बिल लाने में? दे कुड हैव डन इट मच बिफोर एंड कुड हैव गिवन दैट। दे वेटेड टिल 2013 कि भैया लास्ट डे है, लास्ट डे में करके हम निकल जाते हैं। ऐसा नहीं होता है। यू हैव टू डिलीवर ऑल्सो, यू हैव टू गिव पाइप वाटर। व्हाई अ सिंपल बेसिक थिंग लाइक पाइप वाटर नॉट बीन गिवन टू द 16 करोड़ फैमिलीज? 4 करोड़ लोगों को घर मिला है, 4 करोड़ फैमिलीज को घर मिला है, 20 करोड़ लोगों के घर में छत हो गई। मतलब एक फैमिली को अगर हम 5 आदमी भी पकड़े तो 20 करोड़ people are having a pakka ghar right now. So won't those people will come and vote for the Modi?
Okay, absolutely. The time will only tell. I'll thank all of our analysts for joining us. I've completely run out of time.